as at this point where we are right now, it is not just all about American being in chaos, but it's all about people coming out now to express themselves, how they actually feel about the situation of things. And to be honest, am I happy with it? No, to be honest, because I know that a lot of people that are actually going to suffer this particular stuff that is really happening already is those ones that literally do not have anybody, those ones that literally do not have support, those ones that literally cannot afford basic things. It is sad that these people only care about themselves, and they will continue to care about themselves. And that is why in some of my videos I keep saying it, that some of these battles is not just all about left or right, middle or class, and so on and so forth. It is all about a joint task force. But the problem is, how many persons are willing to come out? How many persons are willing to even air out their opinion? Because 99% of what I have literally seen is people express themselves online, express themselves on their social media platform, but when it comes to reality, they just run to their room and hide in one corner. Anyways, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. If this is the first time you're tuning in, subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit belongs to original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And I want you guys to watch this particular video from beginning to the end. Listen attentively so that me and you can learn together and know exactly the next step that we are going to take. Credit belongs to the original creator for educational purposes. Let's get right into this video because I'm not happy.
If there are any Democratic politicians in Washington watching this video, and I sure hope that there are, listen very carefully. I'm going to tell you exactly what you say in this government shutdown battle. It is really not difficult. Here is what you say. You say what Republicans want to do is greatly damaging to the American people. A lot of people are going to be hurt by it. Therefore, we will not give one single vote to what Republicans want to do. And we don't have any power anyway. Republicans control everything. They control both houses of Congress and the presidency. We cannot stop them. They are going to do whatever they want to do. But we are not going along. We will not give them one vote. They own everything that happens. This is entirely on them. Americans are going to be hurt by this. You need to know who is responsible. It's Republicans. We will not help them harm the American people. So in the future, when you lose your health care, when you can't get a job, when inflation is through the roof, when you can't afford the bare necessities in life, just remember, Republicans did this to you. They are in control. Blame them, but we're not helping them. That's it. That's all you say. And you say it over and over again. You all get on the exact same page. Get your little talking points down. Take what I said and cut it up into smaller sound bites if you need to, but you all need to be saying the exact same thing. You're not helping. You're not giving one vote. This is all Republicans. You can't stop them. If the government shuts down, it's Republicans' fault. They have all the votes necessary to keep the government open.
Who has lived without health care. I'm somebody who has had to make the decision of whether I'm going to go to the doctor or not. And we don't want that for people in America. Hey everybody, Congresswoman Lee here, and I just wanted to check in. We're here in DC and we're waiting for word of when we are going to be able to vote to avert this shutdown, a government shutdown. We are just hours away from it, and Republicans haven't even bothered to come in. But we're here because it's that important for us. We're here because we want the government to stay open, but we also know that we have to fight for healthcare. We're fighting to make sure that folks don't wake up in a couple months and find that they can't afford their healthcare, right? As somebody who doesn't just represent a working class district and working class people, I've lived it. I'm somebody who has lived without healthcare. I'm somebody who has had to make the decision of whether I'm going to go to the doctor or not. And we don't want that for people in America. And that's why it's so important that we take the stand. But also it's important that we take the stand because we know that Republicans, if you give them an inch, they will take a mile. We know that if we bend the knee right now on these basic things, these basic values that we show through our budgets, these basic values that we came to Congress to fight for on behalf of our people, if we don't take the stand right now, then we know that this government that is rapidly descending into authoritarianism will continue to take advantage of people. So we are here to fight back against that. And we await the opportunity to vote for a budget that both keeps our government open, keeps our federal workers protected and safe, but also keeps every American who relies on healthcare through the ACA, keeps them protected, make sure that they're able to still go to the doctors, maybe make sure that they're not having to make, the critical decisions between getting healthcare or paying their rent. We're here to fight. Not for, not just for a bureaucracy. We're here to fight for people. And that's why you all sent us here.
What this government shutdown is all about is whether Republicans are going to be able to get away with raising health insurance premiums by 75%. Yes, 75% on average for 20 million Americans. And in addition to that, throwing 15 million people off the health care they have by making devastating cuts to Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. And you know what that means? That means, not according to Bernie Sanders, but according to people who have studied the issue, academics, tens of thousands of Americans are going to die unnecessarily. Well, you know what? I am not going to support that. And that is why the Republicans have got to sit down, they've got to negotiate, and they've got to protect the healthcare needs of the American people.
Shut the country down. I hope that the Democrats find a backbone among them and say, we're not going to do this. They do not have the Congress or the Senate or the presidency. Let them shut the whole goddamn thing down. Hearing Democrats say, oh, well, I want these one, two, or three things in the bill to pass, otherwise we're going to pass it. Fuck off. With all due respect, screw off, you Democrats. You got people in concentration camps, you got people in masked and unmarked cars, you got military in Portland, you have armed National Guard all throughout this country now. You have basically a fascist dictator who's tanking the economy, who's going after his political enemies. But if he agrees to these terms, we're going to sign the bill because we want to be reelected for the midterms. We want to find common ground. No, you're not. Burn it down. If that's what has to happen, then let it happen. Martin Luther King said that a true leader is not a searcher of consensus, they are a molder. Democrats and Republicans are searchers of consensus. They tell people what they want to hear to make them feel good, so you'll give them $10. Screw off. This needs to happen. For 6 months, I pushed a general strike. And the majority of people that didn't want to do it, I can't afford to. I'm not going to do it. It's not going to work. I can't afford to. I have a job. Everybody watching this video has a job, has a family, has car payments, has gas, has electric bills, has to buy food. All of us do. That is white privilege in its purest form.
Americans haven't even heard why Democrats want to shut the government down. When negotiations began, Democrats came to the table with a $1.5 trillion spending package. Yes, that sounds massive, but here's the kicker. It included hundreds of billions of dollars for illegal aliens' health care. Think about that. While hardworking American families are being crushed by rising premiums and medical bills, Chuck Schumer and House Democrats thought the priority should be free health care for people who broke our laws to come to this country. That's their opening demand. Republicans, led by President Trump, immediately said no. And of course, the House passed a clean resolution to keep the government open without handing taxpayer dollars to illegals. No games, just funding to keep essential services running. Democrats' response? Unless you give us $1.5 trillion, we'll shut down the government. That's not even a compromise, it's extortion. And here's the bigger question. Whose side are they really on? Because when the choice is between American citizens who are struggling and illegal immigrants who broke the law, Democrats are siding with the illegals every single time. President Trump and Republicans are siding with you, the taxpayer, the citizen, the parent trying to afford health care for your kids. This fight isn't about keeping government open. Republicans already voted to do that. It's about stopping Democrats from robbing American families to bankroll their radical agenda.
We're all talking about Bad Bunny. Rightfully so, because to quote J-Lo, mi gente latina. But we have to talk about something else that's happening. I feel like a lot of Americans aren't actually attuned to the fact that we are headed for a government shutdown. You're like, oh my gosh, doesn't the government threaten to shut down and run out of funds all the time? Yeah. It does. Feels like Groundhog Day, and it's kind of easy to ignore it, but here's what's happening. Donald Jr. Cheeseburger and the Republicans are refusing to negotiate with the Democrats. As you know, the Republicans have control of Washington. Boo. So that means that they're responsible for keeping the government open. It's like when the worst person you know has the aux and is controlling the vibes. So that's one. Two, so they could walk back these cuts to Medicaid and SNAP, or they can double down when they redo this budget. And right now, Speaker Johnson, monotone guy whose face doesn't move, fierce guardian of the Epstein files, probably his grinder handle. He canceled votes on Monday and Tuesday because he refused to negotiate, which means that House Republicans are going to be home when the government shutdown begins. Oh, what's that? Oh, I was just waiting for the outrage from the people who said they were cutting waste, fraud, and abuse to come to the front. Because nothing says making America great again than raising costs for working families. Like, how do I know all this information? Well, because when you talk a lot of crap on the internet artfully, you get invited to some meetings and some email lists. So I'm getting some information confirming that the Democrats are working to keep the government open, while Republicans, while they might be taking time off work, are putting in their effort to take away America's healthcare, driving us to a government shutdown. Here's a visual of like what's been happening the last 9 months. This isn't by accident. Pause to read. Continue to pause to read, vibes. And dude, I'm a comedian. I wish I could just be silly goose. I care about this because healthcare is already expensive. And no matter where you are in the country, this matters. These cuts go through, healthcare costs are going to go for everyone. It's giving tax cuts for billionaires and higher costs for working people.
Here in D.C., we just finished a press conference with all the House Democrats. We are here in Washington, D.C., at the Capitol right now, ready to work to keep the government open. But guess where the Republicans are? The Republicans in Congress are not in Congress. They're on vacation right now. We're literally the only ones here. And it just goes to show that they have, number one, put us in a healthcare crisis. They want to go into a shutdown so that way they can take away healthcare from more people. We're here to say we want to keep the government open. We're not going to vote for a bill that's going to rip away healthcare from people. Get over here and let's work to make sure that this doesn't happen. But they're nowhere to be found. They're on vacation. And you can visually see the fact that all the Democrats are here, but none of the Republicans are here.
News: over 100,000 federal employees are set to resign from their positions tomorrow. This is set to be the largest mass resignation in U.S. history. There are 4 primary reasons that they cite for wanting to resign from their positions with the government. The first is increased political pressure under the current Trump administration. Second is the fear of retribution. They are terrified that if they speak out, they will lose their position anyway. The third is job security concerns under the Trump administration with a lack of federal funding given to many different positions. And number 4, a general unrest and dissatisfaction with their positions currently. Multiple agency insiders have said that they felt under siege and that there are constant loyalty tests to prove their allegiance to Trump. There have allegedly been internal memos tied to the screening of political ideology and reported threats of mass firings tied to being a leftist. Labor unions representing these workers have warned about increased surveillance, especially when it comes to education, the EPA, and the Justice Department. If these employees do resign, this would be a massive fuck you to the Trump administration, but it would also mean massive delays for the average person when it comes to things like Social Security.
The revolution start. Cause I'm ready. The government shut down every year. It is time to get all them niggas out of office because they not represent nobody. I'm tired of hearing this message every single year. The government's gonna shut down. The government's gonna shut down. At this point, y'all don't have a plan. It gets to a point. It gets to a point.
So sources have confirmed that with the looming pressure of the governmental shutdown and whatever the else is going on, Pete Hegseth is losing his damn mind. Apparently, there's something about to jump off, and Pete Hegseth is losing his mind in the White House right now. And everyone is pretty much up in the air right now. Everyone. We've got Pete Hegseth, who recently pulled in a bunch of the top generals into a random meeting that seemed outside of the norm of how they typically do meetings. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like a top secret meeting. It was like very last minute. It was added in on their calendars, on their Microsoft calendars at the last minute. It was like, you better get your ass in here now. You know what I mean? And then we have reports that are coming down the pipeline about both America and Israel trying to pull a sneak attack on Iran. Iranian airspace all day today has been on high alert, which I assume that even in the nighttime, it will be on even more high alert because we know that Israel and America love to sneak attack people at night. So I'm interested to see how things will change as the impending governmental shutdown is supposed to be happening. Now, we don't know exactly how long the governmental shutdown is supposed to be happening for, but we do know that it is supposed to be happening in the impending 12 hours. Now, in the past, they've been able to avoid a governmental shutdown by coming up with a plan and all voting while we were asleep in the middle of the night. So I assume that that'll more than likely be the case in the middle of the night. And there will also be some aggression that will uptick moving forward in the middle of the night, either overseas or somewhere here on American soil. But what we do know is that it's getting crazy. It's getting worse. Shit is everywhere all at once. And they are all fighting each other right now. Over on X, they're blaming the Mormons for what's happening. I don't know what the hell the Mormons have to do with their church being rammed into by MAGA, by right-wing MAGA. But I mean, hey, I'm just here to listen and hear everybody out. I'm just here to hear everybody out. I'm a fly on the wall. I'm minding everybody else's business. Okay, that's my business. I gotta mind everybody else's business. And I'm the person that comes back on the horse that goes, the British are coming, the British are coming. So just speak a little louder so I can hear y'all on Twitter. If you can hear me on X, speak a little louder, because I'm trying to make sure that the girl allies know what's going on. In other news, I mean, just what's going on globally, nationally as well. But America quite literally is losing their shit right now. I mean, they said that they came up with a comprehensive 20-point plan in which they're supposed to be garnishing peace in the Middle East. And they've been the only thing that is not peaceful in the Middle East. Them and Israel. They're the only two things that are not bringing peace to the Middle East. Now, of course, this plan does not include Mohammed, the current acting chief and president of the Palestinian, or the previous PLC, or Palestinian, the previous Palestinian organization. However, they do state that they have a certified board of directors that will be garnishing the peace and like leading Gaza into peace. I think that this is going to fall apart very quickly. Very quickly, this is going to fall apart. I feel this will very quickly fall apart, but that's just me. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are, because as we approach this governmental shutdown, we know for a fact that a lot of governmental workers will not be paid, essentially. And there's a good possibility that they may come up with a deal sometime in the middle of the night, but we don't know. We don't know. And while all that's taking place, they're still trying to implement these new algorithms while simultaneously accusing everyone left and right of being a terrorist for simply questioning what our government is doing overseas and just being against the government bombing, Venezuela, Palestine, Iran, and several other places, like threatening to bomb China, threatening to bomb Taiwan, threatening to bomb Philippines, and so many other places. We're quite literally running on a hamster wheel chasing our own tail. That's what it feels like. We're running nowhere fast. I just want to give y'all an update. There quite literally is no update. We're running nowhere fast. That's the update.
Figured out Trump's little secret, and he's going to try to pull it off right in front of us. Now, I don't know if he's going to let the government shut down, but if he does, I know he's not going to lose a wink of sleep over it, because the Bureau of Labor Statistics just released a 73-page report on what they'll do if the government shuts down. And in that 73-page report was the news that they will not release a September jobs report on Friday if the government is shut down. Also won't release weekly unemployment claims. And in the middle of October, if the government's still shut down, they won't release inflation data either. And on top of that, they're going to stop collecting data from employers the whole time, which would virtually guarantee October's report is corrupted and incomplete, not unlike every sentence out of Trump's mouth. And the timing really couldn't be better, because a major job market researcher just announced that seasonal hiring is the lowest it's been since 2009, which, if you recall, was a catastrophic recession. And of course, everyone knows the job market is trash because of Donald Trump's tariffs and the nonstop chaos in the economy, when all employers want is stability. But Trump wants to hide from it, because if you don't count it, it isn't real. Just like back in 2020, when a whole ship full of passengers who were sick desperately needed a dock so that the passengers could find a hospital. But Trump didn't want him to dock here, not because he was worried about getting doctors sick, but because he didn't want to count 14 cases. Because really, when it comes down to it, that is all we are to people like Trump. Numbers. If we're good, he claims them, and if they're bad, he either hides from it or blames us for it. Unfortunately for Trump, because we live in the real world, not in mansions with golden ballrooms, we don't need the BLS to tell us it's terrible. All we have to do is ask ourselves one question. Is Trump still the president? We see you, Donald, and we'll see.
Told America's top military leaders that the U.S. military should be used to police American cities. He said in a speech to these military leaders, the ones that are run by the radical left Democrats, what they've done to San Francisco, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, they're very unsafe places, and we're going to straighten them out one by one. And this is going to be a major part for some of the people in this room. That's a war too. It's a war from within. Along with this, Trump told Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth that they should be using these dangerous cities as training grounds for the military and National Guard. He added that Chicago is first on his list, and he mocked their governor as incompetent. There's another concerning thing that I wanted to touch on from this meeting, and I'm just going to play the clip.
Thing you want, and if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room. Of course, there goes your rank, there goes your future. But you just feel nice and loose, okay? Because we're all on the same team.
You could argue that I took that clip out of context, but if you go back and watch the entire speech as I did, you will see that more context actually makes this issue worse. He then pushed this even further by saying if soldiers are spit on by protesters, the rule should be they spit, we hit. He then added that if military or police vehicles are hit with bricks, they should, quote, do whatever the hell you want. And all of this is happening on the same day there's a possible government shutdown. Congress hasn't yet agreed on a funding deal. Democrats are pushing to block Medicaid cuts and protect healthcare tax credits, and Republicans are refusing to give ground. With this, J.D. Vance said after a White House meeting, I think we're heading to a government shutdown because Democrats won't do the right thing. What happens next will not only test the chain of command, but the balance between constitutional limits and president.
Anyways, welcome back, guys, and welcome. Guys, and I hope and I believe that you guys have seen the clip from beginning to the end, one after the other. In as much as a lot of people are coming out to be like shutdown, of which we know that as at this point the shutdown is already effective, right? A lot of people do not know a lot of things that's actually going to happen after the shutdown. And I feel like most of the people that are really suffering for what we currently happen after the shutdown eventually are people that do not have anybody. And I feel like this is also an awakening to a lot of MAGAs, especially for those ones that were singing and drumming and raining, I will vote, both Donald Trump. Yes, this is a reality for them. And this is not only a reality for them, but also a wake-up call that can actually wake a lot of them so that next time they will know the particular place they are. Next time, before they will go ahead to cast a particular vote, they will be able to ask people that are educated, people that knows the system, how things actually works. Because a lot of people don't just ask questions, they just go ahead and do things because they actually want to do things. And I feel like it is one of the most annoying things that is dragging a lot of Americans back. So if the educated ones actually want to move forward, those ones that are not educated will drag them back with their illiteracy, with their lack of knowledge, and they're not even willing to understand what the politics is also talking about. It's not only happening in the US, even in the country where I am, we literally know that we are on our own. When you vote these people, you are on your own. Once they get there, the only thing they will keep doing is how they can actually enrich their pockets. The only thing they will keep doing is how they can actually make themselves more successful. The only thing they will keep doing is how they can actually provide a lot of things for themselves, ignoring the people that actually put them there. I can tell you for a whole fact that there is a particular governor when they were doing this their election thing in Nigeria, that the man was always screaming and shouting, if you vote me, I'm going to give you good road, I'm going to give you good electricity, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But as I'm talking to you, even after he won that particular election, we have not seen a bit of that good road till today. We are still suffering for electricity. We are still suffering to feed. We are still suffering to do one or two things with our life. And that is why I urge Black people, especially people that look like me, that you do not only rely in these corporate jobs, take your time and get something you are doing extra. Take your time and look out for another thing that can actually be more profitable for you. Because at the end of the day, if you think you are voting them, and at the end of the day, you think that corporate job can actually save you, it is no longer a savior. You can imagine a Republican don't even mind going to shut down country, leaving people that vote them behind, leaving people that puts them there, leaving people and don't even care about if they like, they survive. If they like, they don't. It is none of our business. Our own is we are going to shut down. You can imagine the orange man coming on air to say, and if you want to survive this shutdown, go ahead and cut down this, go ahead and cut down that, and so on and so forth. It's sad, it's annoying, it's embarrassing, and it's something for a food of thoughts that we should sit as one and look at ourselves and ask ourselves question. Where is the future for us? Where is the future for us? In the next 3 to 7 years, where do you see yourself? That's the question now. And it has gotten to that point where a lot of people will then decided and say, there's no point of me voting. Why am I even voting them? After all, they don't even care about me. After all, they don't see anything good in me. Why do I need to vote them? When you see people saying that, you don't blame those people because those people have literally passed through hell and fire. And it is definitely not their fault for them to be able to express that. But anyways, I leave you to leave me your thoughts in the comment section. What do you have to say about all of this chaos that is currently happening in America? Especially if you're living in America, I would really love to get your honest opinion, right? If you have not subscribed, subscribe, like this video, drop me your comments. And lastly, do not forget to share for every other person to get this good news. And yes, with no further ado, I do like I say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye and I'll see you guys in my next one. Don't forget, credit belongs to original creators of every clips and stitches we use in our today's episode. And this is just for educational purposes. I stand a chance to be corrected, so feel free to correct me in the comment section. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye for now. I love you. Mwah.